All right, we're gonna start going.
Okay, cool.
So this is fun. So Jamal and I were actually in a workshop. 2 hours ago?
Yes.
An hour ago?
Yes.
He was sitting right behind me. Jamal's been on the podcast before, and was supposed to be a speaker here last year. And I'm going to let you tell the story of the nightmare experience that you had.
So this is my first time coming to Creative South. This is my first time public speaking, and I get up in the morning to get ready to board my flight, and a storm slams the Midwest. And it was a trickle-down effect where it canceled a ton of flights, and there was no recovery from that. So it was people actually stranded for days at Atlanta. So it slammed Atlanta, and I was not able to fly out. So I literally spent the whole weekend at the airport because I would get another flight. I would get my boarding pass. I'm in line to get on the flight, and they cancel. You know, you're staring at the board for 3 or 4 days. Yeah. So I just eventually just like gave up to the point where I was going to drive last minute. So it's snowing, and it was just impossible for me to. So it was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking. But at the same time, it's bittersweet because I'm here now. So, you know, it's all about design. And, you know, I love the process. Sometimes we question things that happen, and it's for the best. You know, it's like, why did I miss that plane? And the plane crashes. So it was you missed it for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. So just to be clear, his plane never got off the ground, so no one died in his experience. But I mean, you ended up here this weekend, and it's beautiful out right now.
Yes.
And it's it's exciting, and we're glad that you made it in. No hiccups, no problems whatsoever.
Right.
And you got in. What time did you get in yesterday?
It was 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock?
Yeah, 1:15, I think. Yeah.
So did you have time to walk around at all and check anything out?
Not yet. I'm still working on my presentation.
So we all know that Jamal plans ahead, like all designers.
So I'm going to try to hang out after I talk. So the beautiful thing is I talk at 9 o'clock, so I'm the opener, so I go first, and then I get to hang out and just relax after that. So
you're the first one up tomorrow?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
So no pressure whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly. I just get up there and just do my thing. You know, it's all about being yourself.
Yeah.
So not really being too tough on yourself. Mm-hmm. You know, it's all about being passionate. It's about being an artist and just coming from the heart. Mm-hmm. And when it's authentic like that, then, you know, what the heck, man? I mean, I think, you know, I was telling Dustin out there, it's about, you know, breaking rapport, and being a designer is like changing and leading and not following the rules, right? That's what we preach.
Yeah.
Don't follow the rules. So I'm going to get up there and break the rules.
Awesome.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So we'll do the quick wrap up for people who may not be familiar with you. Let's give everybody your backstory of who you are, what you do, all that fun stuff.
So I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm an uncle. I'm a cousin. I'm a designer.
I like that you started with all the family stuff first. That makes me really happy.
I'm a designer. I'm an educator, and the most important one, I'm a mentor. Mm-hmm. So I started teaching. I was thrown out of corporate, so I tried to work my way up the ladder. It didn't work, so I was forced to do something outside my comfort zone, which is teaching. Mm-hmm. So I'm a teacher, but by trade, I'm a designer. Mm-hmm. So I had to, like, you know, kind of learn a new way of doing things. So I started an after school program in some of the roughest, toughest areas in Cleveland. I got like IMAX located in different areas. I travel around all day long. I'm teaching design. Like I take kids on field trips. I have guys like you come and talk to them. So I got top illustrators come and talk about pricing, talking about, you know, a way to think and navigate through their life. I mean, I think the problem is that the school system is kind of still built on the same factory type, fall in line, follow instructions,
industrial
type
revolution model.
Yeah, and that's a bad place to be at. Like, I'm talking to kids about screw school, start your YouTube channel. Well, I'm kind of going off on a tangent. I'm sorry. So I had one of my students. He was messing up. They was like, well, he can't come into your class because he has to do some homework. So I said, you know, do you have a YouTube channel? He was like, no. I said, the only way I will excuse you from not doing your grades if you're crushing it on the back end. So I was just kind of explaining to him leverage. Like, if you got 1 million followers and you monetize your YouTube channel, it's okay to get bad grades. But if you're not crushing it on one end, you got to take care of your responsibilities.
Let's clarify. It's still really not okay to get bad grades, but try to get good grades. Yeah.
True.
So you've been doing the mentoring for, what, about 5 years now?
Yeah. Time flies, right?
Yeah. So, how did that come about? How did that start? I know, like, you were in the corporate world for a while.
Right.
And then you kind of transitioned into working on some things.
Well, the economy crashed and I was out of work.
Sure.
So I was trying to find, some work. I was out of work for 5 years. So I was kind of looking to be a bus driver or something. I'm taking my CDLs and all this good stuff. And I had an opportunity to volunteer at the Boys and Girls Club. And I got hired as an art instructor. So that's just basically, just the basic art stuff. So it's like drawing, just painting, and a little bit of ceramics.
Sure.
So I started off there doing that. And then I just saw, my specialty is graphic design. And I seen some people coming in doing specialized work. So I presented the idea, they went for it, and then it just grew from that. And I just started to, add more and more to it because I'm outside my comfort zone. So I'm starting to do more stuff. I'm vlogging now. I'm doing speed art. I'm doing photography. I bring a camera. I'm capturing content. I kind of saw something when I was vlogging, and I saw that they needed more than just, this is the pen tool. This is how you lay out. They need to think about, creating content. They need to think about grades. They need to think about being responsible at home, being responsible on the internet, and just really, taking a shot now.
Yeah, so it's not just teaching them, here's the software and how to use it.
Yeah. It's like call somebody from Nike and show them your sketches.
Yeah, and how to talk to people. You're building up. You're using design as a language to facilitate communication and real world practices and being in business and furthering yourself, not just teaching design to teach design.
Yeah, and helping out. Yeah. And it's like, the crime rate is high. We got suicidals, we got drugs, we got all of this stuff that hasn't changed. It has to change with the youth. And I think about, it's like all this starts with imagination. We had our biggest imagination when we were youth. And that's where the ideas come from, right? It's from your imagination. So nothing is permanent. So we need some new Airbnbs. We need some new Ubers. And these are the guys that's going to do it. So just like starting them now, like ask for the right stuff. Like stop asking for Xboxes and games and get you a camera, learn how to fly drones. Like this is the practical tangibles that they need now at 12.
Yeah.
Not wait until college and say, what am I going to do with my life? Like we need the structure and we need to be on this path at an early rate. Like no spring break, no fun. Like I just want to work.
That's not true. He likes to have fun too. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, it's definitely that. It's like, ask for a computer. Yeah, you can play some video games on there, but you've got this opportunity where now you can get on the internet and you can learn things and you can, get in these programs and you can learn how to do this and you can improve your skills and you can improve yourself through that.
Right. Definitely.
So as you're working with these kids, because like you said, you go from school to school and you go from different after school programs, and this is definitely not a 9-to-5 job for you. This is This is like your life almost. Like it doesn't stop. If somebody needs to call you and has something, they're allowed to do that. How do you do that without? I'm trying to find the right way to phrase that. If somebody fails, do you feel like you've failed them at a certain point?
I used to.
You used to?
Yeah. Everybody's not going to make it, and I just came to faces with that. I used to have issues not connecting with everybody, and that's like part of reality. So I connect with the ones who want to connect with. I lose some from either they moved or they're not interested anymore. We have like very dynamic parenting behind them. So it may be a point where I'm engaging with the youth, but I'm not engaging with their parents. So, you know, all of this is about the reason why I'm here. The reason why we all are here is for exposure, man, to let these guys know that, you know, you could do some cool stuff with video, photography, design, and like now, like, I mean, when we was coming up, couldn't just go type in Google and say salaries for a UI designer. Okay, that's what I want to do. It's like you get the paper on Sunday and see what's in there and circle it, like, okay, mail them a resume type of thing.
Yeah, I was about to say you and I aren't far apart in age. The internet did not exist when we were coming up. It was literally, oh, well, maybe like early on in college, America Online came about, and you know.
I think like the most powerful person that you could be at this point is a designer, because it's like you could it's all visual. You just need to understand some marketing. You could do your own collateral. I mean, you can set up a website. Like you could set up, we don't have to wait for a network to pick up our show. Like I could just start recording my own reality show right now. Like I could record my own movies right now. I could distribute it. Like this is a beautiful time to do this. Like the problem is that they're consumers. They're not creating anything.
Yeah. It's that, you know, I think that's exactly right. In today's market, there are so many things out there that are already being created by other people. You can't sit around and wait for somebody to come to you. You've got to start creating your own thing to get noticed. You know, you can't just be a consumer.
Yeah. So like the problem that it's all, you know, I want to say is brainwashing, but you know, it's the take care of you bargain, and I'm gonna talk about this tomorrow. So the take care of you bargain, I got this from Zeph Golden, and I love his book, The Linchpin. So the linchpin is about being indispensable. So a linchpin is a little pin in the wagon, and without that pin, the wagon falls apart, the wheel. So part of this is being unique and finding your true self and going against the take care of you bargain. So take care of you bargain is something that my father and everybody said. Well, society says if you follow these instructions, follow this manual, come into this factory and do what you're told, keep your head down, keep your head low, and we will give you security. We will give you a pension. We will give you retirement and all of this stuff. So, I mean, it was a good deal, but those days are over. We need people to stand out and be indispensable. I think the whole big idea about that is like your true self. So when I ponder and I think about my father, like he got a nice job. You know, I was born in 1970, so he got a nice job at General Electric. He worked there until he retired. But I never, when I think about it, I never really saw his, I want to say his true self, because after he worked, he just kind of relaxed and took it easy, and he never saw him.
The job wasn't his passion. It was just his way of putting food on the table.
Right, which was good. I appreciate him doing that.
Yeah.
You know, but at the same time, I saw like early signs of that he could draw. My grandmother was very creative. So I never saw him really. He liked photography. So he did take a lot of photos when I was younger, but I didn't see him like
I've seen some lovely photos of you when you were a kid.
Oh, okay.
I love.
I got the family unit. Yeah, definitely is there.
Your dad got a little bit of a fro going on in a couple of them too.
Yeah, definitely, man. That's as important. Like, you know, a lot of what I'm doing, like I'm like that extra support. Like I'm that cool uncle for families who don't have that. That cool uncle to come in and give them some game, man. That's what it is. I come in and I give them the truth.
What does that do for you? Like when you see a kid who's struggling and you're able to connect with him and you're able to connect with his family to help support him more in a way that really drives him, and he connects with that and is able to build on that, you know, how does that make you feel? How does that empower you?
It's amazing. Like, you know, it's like you kind of feel like this is like kind of bigger than me. I kind of, you know, fell in line with everything else. Like, you know, I'm trying to make a living. It's all about me, take. What can you give me? And, you know, I think we kind of programmed to do that, and to give back is just a different feeling, because it's like charity. It's like you're helping somebody. Like it's all about love, man. We all love somebody or something. Like, you know, you love your kids, you love your family, you got love for humanity, so you want to help them, man. I'm inner city, so I'm seeing drug dealers. I'm seeing, you know, people strung out. on a day-to-day basis. Like, I don't even really watch the news. Like, it's like very discouraging on what's happening, what's going on. It's like nothing has really changed. Like, it's getting worse. So, I mean, you know, even the field is like not a lot of black people in the field at all. Like, they don't know that they have this option. Like, so I'm like, I want to do my part to help like anybody I come in contact with. Like, look, you could be a designer. This is the best position that you could be in, you know. And, you know, you don't necessarily have to be a designer too. It's just like you need to create some content around what you're doing. Yeah. Like if you the best cheerleader, then I should see you doing your moves. I should see you talking about it. I should see you being a practitioner and doing that, and maybe coming back and teaching little kids. Now you have some leverage. Like before, I would just send a resume and can't understand why, you know, it's piled up with everybody else's. How I'm going to differentiate myself from everybody else. Well, that's easy. I'm unique. We all, you know, you're Jason, I'm Jamal. I can never be you. You can never be me. Right. So we all got, you know, our own different fingerprints because we're all unique. We need to show that uniqueness, and then you bring the market to you. Gotcha. And you touched on something there of, you know, maybe you can come back and teach at some point. Have you had kids that you've mentored who have come back and started helping you and started mentoring other kids, or gone on to do that on their own? They're still young. So like my oldest group right now is moving on to the 9th grade. Yeah. So they want to come and hang out and work for me and stuff. I could kind of briefly talk about something. I had a little workshop with some design friends of mine called Spark 216. So it's just roughly a day of exposure. It was I had 6 design disciplines so it was almost like a science fair for the arts. Yeah. So on these 6 tables, we had photography, design thinking, web design, illustration, graphic design, and photography. And each table we had 2 design leaders, professional guys. Like I had 2 guys that worked for the Cavs. I had some architects, and we kind of just did a little mind mapping, a little drawings, just creating stuff with the youth. So we invited the parents. We had a parent piece where they can come in, and we handed them these books with salaries in it and different areas of focus and how much people made and stuff like that. So just little by little, just trying to spread the word and call people to action, like to bring your kids and get them involved in this stuff. And this was just about a month ago that this happened? It was a month. Yeah, it was a month. And did you do you did some sort of campaign around that? Was it GoFundMe or Kickstarter? I can't remember exactly. No. It was just like just on social media pushing it out. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It was just a regular. No, it wasn't no GoFundMe. It was just a regular. What do you call it when you can buy your tickets online? Eventbrite. That was it. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was it. Okay, because I remember people. There were people who were donating money to help. People were supposed donating. Yeah, we was letting people donate. Sure, of course. Yeah, because when we were in the workshop this morning, I know Heba. Yeah, exactly. It was one of the donors. And you thanked her immensely for that. Exactly. That was beautiful. Yeah. So, is the Spark 216 something that you want to continue and maybe try to do again next year? Yeah, we're working on it. Actually, we coming up with a date middle June. Oh, awesome. So you're going to do another one soon. Yeah. So I'm kind of all over the place, man. I teach during the day. I'm an adjunct professor teaching photography and cinematography. I teach at another small district. They have a cool techie program. Got something like a techie hub. So these are like future coders and introducing them to the graphic design element. It's like 6th graders through 8th grade. So I'm doing that. Traveling around. I do some workshops at some place called PNC Bank has. They turn the bank into like a media center. So they have offices you can rent. You can rent computers. They have iMacs. They had a community come, almost like a library feel. You can get on the computers, but they have workshops and programs in there too. Gotcha. So I'm doing Saturday sessions up there for free. Just come and hang out. I'm gonna go over, everything you need to do, and try to shake them up. How many of these programs have popped up in the time since you started kind of doing the mentoring and bringing the mentoring to the inner city youth of Cleveland? And how many of you kind of helped spark the idea? None yet, really. I'm just the only one, really, that I know. Like, I think like it's a lot of educators out there, teachers, and I met somebody who teaches in school. I guess it's just like my method and my style. So you can kind of see that on the vlog. So I'm a little different with how I connect. So people, want to get me to come in all the time. So I'm like constantly in meetings or talking to some youth and, just hanging out with kids, going on photo shoots. We on rooftops and all kind of stuff, man. I think I really really turned on my creative juices myself. So I'm always designing photography. I'm kind of looking for new things to teach the youth. I kind of mentioned Zeph Golden, but I talk about Tim Ferriss' 4-hour work week. Like, I know they learning about literature and math and all of this stuff, but I'm talking about like Airbnb and really getting them to think like entrepreneurs. Now they should be aware of this stuff now.
Yeah.
Like,
So, get it in early so they have
exactly.
Because that's all the stuff you don't get taught in school. It's like, why did I take geometry? I have never once needed to learn how to find out the space in a parallelogram in my life. But I can't tell you how many times I've needed to learn how to do my taxes.
Exactly. It's about the real world application, which they're not getting in school.
Yeah.
It needs to be, they need to get to do that. Like, I homeschool my kids.
Hey, so do I. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I thought you knew that.
No, I didn't know that. Oh, we're gonna have to talk more about that.
Yeah.
Especially when my wife gets here, because she's really the one who's homeschooling.
Oh yeah, mine is too. So maybe they need to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
So as you've been doing this, and as you've seen, the impact that it has, how are ways that you see it growing and expanding where it can help more people?
I'm not sure, man. To me, it's not growing enough. But the problem is that I'm like the bottleneck in the company. I need to have some more guys like me helping and getting on board. Like, I'm thinking that's what the Spark 216 is doing. So that's kind of starting out kind of young. So. It's still, I guess, like in the baby stages. It's only 4 years old.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I know because, you've got like in St. Louis, you've got Creative Reaction Lab with Antoinette Carroll, and I don't know if you're familiar with her or not, but she does. I mean, she does a lot around like social justice and things like that. But she also has a pretty big educational component to it.
Okay.
But she's teaching like high school and college age kids and things like that. And she's talking about the impact that design can have on your community and how it can, help. And it's, how design can bring a voice to things like Black Lives Matter, or, other things that are affecting minorities, whether, it's racial minorities or ethnic minorities, or people of different genders, or the trans, LB, all those things. She's taken all those social aspects, and she's created this kind of model where she's now going around and doing talks, and she's talking about how you can build this similar format to empower people in your community to do something similar.
Okay.
And I think for you, and I don't know if this is something that you're interested in, but especially with like mentoring kids, I can envision you developing something like where you could go talk to other inner cities and other places like that to show them how your processes work, how you could set up a structure to make more of an impact in their community. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I would love to do that.
Yeah,
I had some conversations. We have some certain stuff like that in Cleveland. I think it's a little spread out. Like, certain people that get it kind of bring me in, but I think a lot of stuff is kind of isolated in Cleveland. We need to bring it back. I think that's I go back to Spark 216 because we're trying to bring people together. Like, we got artists, we got designers. The artists really don't know the designers. So we got that little weird thing going on. So,
yeah. No, I think that's a lot everywhere. Where it's like, because I live in Mobile, Alabama, and diversity-wise, I think the racial breakdown is like 53% African American. It's a majority of African American, but we're in the deep South, so
right.
Ignore what is than that.
Yeah.
But it's just been and I've lived there for about 20 years. But in the past, maybe 5 years, I've started to see more and more programs that are gearing towards, let's not just educate everyone, but let's specifically educate people who are lower income or who, the black kids in town who don't live in the good areas of town, and help them, get ahead so they're not, fumbling around and they're not falling into that stereotype of the Deep South. And they're able to push back and show that they can do something. And I think education methods, like especially with what you're doing, help grow that and help break that mold, for white people too. Because for better or worse, racism or there's no for better. For worse, racism still exists in the country.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And but there's so many systemic racism things that people aren't even aware of.
Yeah.
That those are, I think those are in some ways easier to change and in some ways harder, because the systemic change, you can make a case and you can build across that case if you're putting in the work and spotlighting it. People's personal prejudices, that's tough. I don't, I mean, you can look at me. I'm practically translucently white. Speak to that from your experience of how you changed that to build up your community.
Well, everybody has like issues, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like really understanding who you are. So it's all about self-reflection. It's all about, really working on yourself. I think the problem is that at an early age, we get thrown into a social class.
Yeah.
And I talk about this. I'm going to talk about it tomorrow. I flunked the second grade. So after that, I was thrown inside of a box and I never came out of it. Like I was placed in this class of the hard-headed kid that really doesn't listen, and it was kind of followed me. So I had like a very abusive teacher in the second grade, and that kind of funneled to have an abusive manager after college. So it's the same thing. So it's really like, we all have challenges. Yours or mine may be harder or easier depending on your nationality, your family dynamics. But if you truly believe in what you're doing and you're indispensable, like I was talking about, you could crush it. You might have to work harder, but it's no excuse. Guys need to get into the right mindset of not blaming anybody for what's going on with them. Just kind of like, using what you know to kind of further what's going on with you. I may talk about this tomorrow. I'll talk about 4 levels of competency, right? So the first level is incompetent and unconscious. And this is the whole thing of it. So you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
So a lot of people don't know. If you don't know you're in a prison, you don't know to break out of it.
Sure.
Right. So the second one is competent and conscious. So you're competent of it and you just have some difficulty doing it.
Sure.
And then the final one, I'm kind of skipping one, sorry, but the final
Save
one,
some for the talk.
Yeah, the final one is subconscious consciousness. So you don't even have to think about it. So you could just do it.
It's like muscle memory at that point.
Yeah, it's like a flow state. So it's about letting these guys know that you have an option. You can win. Like if you don't know you can win, then you're not even going to try to win. You're just going to fall in line with everything else. The problem is that we're a bunch of followers.
Sure.
That's the one thing. And if you're following the wrong people or following the masses may be wrong. So, it's, if a bunch of your friends are a bunch of losers and all of this stuff, like, so it's good to just like get exposure to some heroes. And I'm the guy that I can relate to and come back and tell them like, look, you should be doing this. You should be doing that. This is a way that I feel like you should win. So.
That's great.
Yeah.
So we're kind of getting close to our time, but where can people find out more about you online, and then we'll go into the talk a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. My handle is jayworking, so that's jayworking.com, and you can find me on all the social networks underneath that jayworking. My real name is Jamal Collins, and you can find me on Facebook underneath that handle as well. So. Yeah, reach out. Oh, go to my YouTube channel and please subscribe because I'm, working hard on my vlogs. So you can find me at jayworking on YouTube too. So
awesome.
Yeah.
So 9 a.m. tomorrow.
Yes.
Bright and early. Get your coffee in.
Yeah, get your coffee. Come and hang out. Come and see me do my 1-2 on the stage.
Well, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Jamal, I really appreciate you taking the time.
You too, man.
Go out and hug some necks and go walk around in Columbus.
Yeah, definitely. My daughter coming in too.
Oh, awesome!
She should be here tonight.
Atlanta, right?
Yeah, she should be here tonight at 9. She's leaving at 6.
Awesome.
So yeah, hopefully I can get her to network with some people. She's just a new graduate, public relations, marketing major. So
awesome. Where did she go to school at?
She went to Bowling Green.
Oh,
okay. With me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to meeting her too.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Thanks, Jamal.
Was inside of me. You don't got no words, but it got a meaning. Always had big dreams for what I could be. Even when I didn't know what I would be. Never found myself, I'm still finding me. If I made you